Hello everyone, this is Ramachandran, math tutor from Online Math for All. In this video, we are going to discuss some tricky SAT math problems. Okay, let's go to the problems. Here we have the first problem. Okay, let's go to the question. If x is not equal to 0 and y is not equal to 0, which of the following is equivalent to 8x squared divided by square root of 4 times x to the 6th power times y to the 4th power? Okay, now let me take this expression as it is. That is 8x squared divided by square root of 4 times x to the 6th power times y to the 4th power. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to simplify this expression and find the one in the answer choices that is equivalent to this. Okay, let me write the numerator x, 8x square as it is. And now we can write the square root as an exponent. Okay, let me do it. That is 4 times x to the 6th power, y to the 4th power. Whenever I write a radical as an exponent, it will be a fraction with numerator 1. And the denominator of the fraction over here will be the index of the radical. This is square root, so its index is 2. So the denominator over here has to be 2. Okay, now 8x square divided by here 4x to the 6th power, y to the 4th power. All of them are multiplied and we have the common exponent 1 over 2. Whenever two or more quantities are multiplied and we have the common exponent, what we can do is we can distribute this exponent for each quantity over here inside the parenthesis. Okay, when I distribute this exponent 1 over 2 for this 4, I am getting 4 to the power of 1 over 2. And when I distribute this one to x to the 6th power, I am getting x to the 6th power is raised to the power of 1 over 2. And the same thing we can do for this one. Then we get to y to the 4th power is raised to the power of 1 over 2. Okay, 8x square divided by this 4 can be written as 2 square. Then we have 2 square is raised to the power of 1 over 2. And here a power is raised to another power. Whenever a power is raised to another power, we can multiply the two exponents. Then we get x to the power of 6 times 1 over 2. And the same thing we can do for this term. That is, we have to multiply these two exponents. Then we get y to the power of 4 times 1 over 2. Okay, here 2 goes into 2 1 times and 2 goes into 6 3 times. Here 2 goes into 2 1 times and 2 goes into 4 2 times. Okay, let me continue over here. 8x square divided by, here we can multiply these two exponents. Then we get 2 to the power of 2 times 1 over 2. And here we have x to the power of 3. And here we have y to the power of 2. Okay, here this 2 will cancel out 8x square divided by 2 times x to the 3rd power times y square. Because 2 to the 1st power is just 2. Here 2 goes into 2 1 times and 2 goes into 8 4 times. Okay, here 4 times. Here we divide two powers with the same base x. Whenever we divide two powers with the same base, what we can do is we can take the base ones and we have to subtract the exponents. Then we get 2 negative 3. And when I move this y square to the numerator, the exponent will change its sign. Already we have positive exponent, so it will become negative 2. Then we get y to the negative 2nd power. Then we get 4 times x to the power of, when I simplify this one, I am getting a negative 1 times y to the negative 2nd power. Okay, now I got the expression that is equivalent to the given expression, that is 4 times x to the negative 1st power times y to the negative 2nd power. I find this one in answer choice C. The correct answer choice for this question is C. Okay, let's look at the next question. Here we have an equation. The equation above is true for all real values of x where a and b are constants. What is the value of ab? That is, we have to get the value of a times b. Okay, to get the value of a times b, we need the values of the two unknown constants a and b in this equation. We can use the Desmos to get the values of the two unknown constants a and b. For that, we have to take this equation as input in Desmos. If I want to graph this equation, I can take this equation as it is in Desmos. But my aim is not to graph this equation. My aim is to get the values of the two unknown constants a and b in this equation. In that case, when I take this equation as input, for each x I have to use x1, and instead of equal sign I have to use a tilde sign in Desmos. Okay, now let me take this equation as input in Desmos. That is a times x1 positive 3. Then we have 5 times x1 and it has to be squared negative b times x1 positive 4. Then we have to take tilde sign 20 times x1 and x1 has to be raised to the power of 3 negative 9 times x1 squared. Then we have negative 2 times x1 positive 12. Here I have taken the given equation as input. As I said, the that is x1 should be taken for x and tilde sign should be taken for equal sign. Since the given equation contains two unknown constants a and b, here I have to give two different real values as input for x1 in Desmos. Okay, now let me take input values for x1, that is x1 equals to, then we have to take square bracket. So I said we have to take two different real values as input for x1. Otherwise, what we can do is we can take 1, then 3 dots, then 10. So Desmos will take 10 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as input values for x1. So now I got the values for a and b. A equals to 4 and b equals to 6. Okay, now let's get the product of a and b, that is a times b equal to 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Here I got the value of a times b, that is 24. We find 24 in answer choice C. The correct answer choice for this question is C. Okay, let's look at the next question. For a certain rectangular region, the ratio of its length to its width is 35 to 10. If the width of the rectangular region increases by 7 units, how must the length change to maintain this ratio? Here we have the ratio of length and width of the rectangle, that is 35 to 10. Okay, let me write the stuff out here. The ratio of length and width equals to 35 over 10. I think it can be simplified because both 35 and 10 have the greatest common divisor 5. 5 goes into 35 7 times and 5 goes into 10 2 times. Then the given ratio becomes 7 over 2. Okay, now from the terms of the ratio over here, if I want to get the length and width of the rectangle, I have to multiply both the terms over here by the same non-zero number, say x. When I multiply this 7 by x, I am getting 7x. So 7x is the length of the rectangle, that is the original length. And when I multiply this 2 by the same non-zero number x, I am getting 2x. So 2x is the original width of the rectangle. Now, according to the given information, the width of the rectangle has to be increased by 7 units. That is, the width of the rectangle is 2x. This 2x has to be increased by 7 units. Then, how we have to change the length? That is how we have to change this 7x so that the ratio of the length and width has to be maintained as 35 to 10 or 7 over 2. Okay, now let me assume the length of the rectangle has to be changed by k units. Then we have to take a positive k. Now, this ratio must be equal to the given ratio, 35 over 10 or 7 over 2, because the question says that we have to maintain the given ratio. So, it must be equal to the original ratio, 35 over 10, or the simplified form of the original ratio is 7 over 2. Okay, now in this one, we have to solve for k. If the value of k is positive, then we have to understand the length has to be increased. If the value of k is negative, then the length has to be decreased. Okay, now let's solve for k in this equation. For that, we have to do cross multiplication. That is, the numerator on the left side has to be multiplied by the denominator on the right side. Then we get 2 times 7x positive k. And the numerator on the right side has to be multiplied by the denominator on the left side. Then we get 7 times 2x positive 7. Now we can distribute this 2 to this 7x and positive k. Then I'm getting 14x positive 2k. Here we can distribute this 7 to the stuff over here. Then we get 14x positive 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, let's subtract 14x from both sides of this equation. Then this one will cancel out. Here this one will cancel out. We get 2k equals to 49. Let's divide both sides of the equation by 2. Then this 2 will cancel out. Then we get k equals to, when I divide 49 by 2, I'm getting 24.5. Here I'm getting a positive value for k. That means the length of the rectangle has to be increased by 24.5 units. And we find this stuff exactly in answer choice B. That is, it must increase by 24.5 units. The correct answer choice for this question is B. Here we have the next problem. Let's go to the question. The xy plane above, O is the center of the circle and the measure of angle POQ is a degrees. What is the cosine of a degrees? That is, we have to get the value of cosine a degrees. Okay, let me write over here. That is cosine of a degrees. Now, in the given figure, let's assume x degrees as a measure of this part of the angle. And we know that here we have a right angle, that is the angle between x-axis and y-axis. Now, to get the angle a degrees, we have to add this 90 degrees and this x degrees. Okay, here we have cosine of 90 degrees positive x degrees. So, because a degrees equals to 90 positive x. Let's consider the 4 quadrants in the given figure over here. This is the first quadrant. Here we have the second one. Here we have the third one. Here we have the fourth one. And also consider the ASTC concept. That is, we have A for the first quadrant, S for the second one, C for the third one, and T for the fourth one. Here we have A for the first quadrant. That is, all 6 trigonometric ratios are positive in the first quadrant. In the second one, we have S. S means a sine and its reciprocal cosecant. Only these 2 trigonometric ratios are positive. The rest are negative in the second one. The third one, cosine and its reciprocal secant are positive. The rest are negative. The fourth one, tangent and cotangent are positive. The rest are negative. Okay, here the terminal side of the given angle measure A degrees is in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, only sine and cosecant are positive. So here we have cosine. So then we'll have negative sign. And now we can use the cofunction identity in trigonometry because the angle measure over here is the addition of 90 degrees and positive x degrees. So in trigonometric ratio, whenever the angle is addition of 90 and some angle or a subtraction of 90 and some angle, we can use the cofunction identity. And when we have such an angle over here, this cosine will become sine, and we have to consider only this angle, that is sine x degrees. Okay, now let me draw an horizontal line segment over here to make a right triangle, that is we have right angle over here. In this right triangle, this is hypotenuse because it is opposite to the right angle. Now, to get the length of the horizontal line segment over here, consider the x coordinate at the point Q, it's -1. But when I consider the length, it has to be positive. So we can take this -1 as positive. That is, 1 is the length of this leg of the triangle. Now, to get the length of this vertical line segment, we have to consider the y coordinate over here. Already it's positive, so square root of 3 is the length of this leg of the triangle. And in this right triangle, apart from the hypotenuse, for the remaining 2 legs, we have the lengths 1 and square root of 3. In a right triangle, apart from the hypotenuse, for the remaining 2 legs, when we have the lengths 1 and square root of 3, then this is a special right triangle. That is a 30, 60, 90 special right triangle. And this is the shortest leg because 1 is smaller than square root of 3. So this is the shortest leg, and the next longer leg is this one, and the hypotenuse is the longer side. Okay, now in this 30, 60, 90 special right triangle, to get the length of the hypotenuse, I have to multiply the length of the shortest leg by 2. When I multiply this 1 by 2, I am getting 2. So here I got the length of the hypotenuse, that is 2. Our aim is to get the value of sine x degrees. According to Secato, for sine x, we have opposite divided by hypotenuse. Okay, when I consider the angle measure x degrees, so this is a side which is opposite to this angle. So the length of the opposite side is 1 and the length of the hypotenuse is 2. Here I got the value of cosine of a degrees, that is -1/2. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Here we have an equation. In the given equation, r and s are constants. The equation has no solution. What is the value of r? This is a linear equation in one variable, that is x. Before we start solving this problem, let's consider some stuff on solution of a linear equation in one variable. Okay, first let me write a linear equation in one variable, that is a1x positive b1 equals to a2x positive b2. Here we have a linear equation in one variable, that is x. I'm going to consider 3 cases for the solution of this linear equation in one variable. Let me take the first case. Okay, in the first case, I'm going to consider the coefficient of x on the left side, the coefficient of x on the right side, that is a1 and a2. Say they are not equal. Okay, when we have a linear equation in this form and the coefficients of x on the left side and right side are not equal, then the equation has only one solution. Let me write over here. And here we don't have to worry about the constants b1 and b2. So they may be equal or they may not be equal. Okay, now let me consider the second case. Let me write over here. In the second case, let me take the coefficients of x on the left side and right side, that is a1, a2. And also I consider the constant terms on the left side and right side, b1, b2. Okay, say a1 and a2 are equal. The constant terms also are equal, that is b1 is equal to b2. In this case, we have infinitely many solutions. Okay, let me write the stuff over here. Infinitely many solutions. Okay, now let me consider case 3. Let me write over here. In this one also, I consider the coefficients of x on the left side and right side, the constant terms on the left side and right side. Say that the coefficients of x on the left side and right side are equal, and the constant terms on the left side and right side are not equal. In this case, we have to conclude no solution for the given linear equation in one variable. Okay, when I consider the given information, the given linear equation in one variable has no solution. Then we have to consider the third case. That means that the coefficients of x on the left side and right side are equal. The constant terms on the left side and right side are not equal. Okay, let's consider the coefficient of x on the left side. That is negative 2 over 19 times r. Let me write over here. And the coefficient of x on the right side is negative 7 over 57. So here the coefficients of x on the left side and right side must be equal. The constant term on the left side is s over 8. The constant term on the right side is 14. They must not be equal. Here for some value of s, the value of this one and this 14 are not equal. And we don't have to worry about this one. In this equation, we have to solve for r. That is, we have to get the value of r. Okay, now to get out the negative sign on the left side and right side, we can multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1. When I do so, I am getting 2 over 19 times r. On the right side, we get 7 over 57. Now let's multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of this fraction, that is 19 over 2. Here I multiply 19 over 2. So this 2 will cancel out, this 19 will cancel out. I am getting r on the left side. 19 goes into 19 one times and 19 goes into 57 three times. Okay, here 7 times 1 is 7 and 3 times 2 is 6. Here I got the value of r, that is 7 over 6. Hello all, hope you have understood the tricky SAT math problems explained so far. And here you can see a particular web page of my website which has a lot of SAT math resources. Here you can find 33 links at the top. In each link, you can get 10 hard SAT math problems with video solution for each problem. And apart from that, first 33 links, you can see multiple links. In each link, you can get 5 to 10 SAT math problems in all categories like geometry, trigonometry, algebra, everything. And I have given link for this web page in the description, and also I have given link for the SAT math problem YouTube playlist of my channel. Thank you.